The envelope hit the marble countertop like a guillotine blade, slicing through the humid Chicago summer air. Riley's fingers trembled as he stared at the embossed gold lettering. The wedding of the century. Justin and Connor Sullivan, with their beloved brides, his name nowhere in sight amid the sea of family and friends. In that instant, the invisible thread binding him to his identical twins snapped, leaving a void that echoed with the ghosts of shared cribs, scraped knees, and whispered boyhood promises now turned to ash. He crumpled the invitation in his fist, the paper cutting into his palm like the betrayal it represented, and hurled it into the sink where it landed beside the remnants of last night's takeout, cold lo mein from the corner spot where he'd proposed to Ethan 6 months ago. "They did it," Riley whispered to the empty loft, his voice cracking like thunder over Lake Michigan. "My own brothers. They fucking erased me." Riley Sullivan had always been the shadow twin, the one who blended into the wallpaper of their picture-perfect Irish-American family in Evanston, Illinois. Born 3 minutes after Justin and 2 after Connor, 34 years ago under a blood moon that their superstitious grandmother swore foretold one storm too many. They'd been inseparable, a trifecta of freckled faces, unruly auburn curls, and eyes the color of Lake Superior on a stormy day. Summers meant bonfires on the shore of Lake Michigan. Winters were sledding down the dunes until their fingers turned blue. And every milestone, from Little League triumphs to high school graduations, was amplified by the sheer force of their triplet bond. 3 is 1, their dad used to say, clapping them on the back with hands rough from years at the steel mill. But cracks had formed early. Justin, the eldest by minutes, was the golden boy, quarterback, prom king, now a rising star at a Loop law firm, engaged to Emily, a blonde paralegal with a laugh like wind chimes and a family trust fund that made their modest bungalow feel even smaller. Connor, the middle wild card, channeled his chaos into finance, trading stocks like poker chips and charming his way into a corner office. His fiancée, Sarah, was a yoga instructor with tattoos of mandalas and a PhD in environmental policy, the kind of woman who recycled their parents' love into something eco-friendly and enlightened. They were the Sullivans everyone celebrated, straight, successful, settling down in split-level homes in the suburbs, popping out future accountants and litigators. Riley, he was the artist, the one who traded Wall Street suits for paint-splattered overalls in a Wicker Park studio, capturing the grit of the city in oils that sold sporadically at galleries on Milwaukee Avenue. And he loved Ethan fiercely, unapologetically, a graphic designer with olive skin, a lopsided grin, and a laugh that could disarm a room full of skeptics. They'd met 3 years ago at a queer art crawl in Pilsen, bonding over cheap Malort shots and a shared disdain for corporate ladders. Ethan was the anchor Riley never knew he needed, the man who traced constellations on his back during sleepless nights and whispered, "You're enough." Always. The wedding invitations arrived on a Tuesday in July, 2 months before the big double ceremony at St. Mary's in their hometown. Riley had been elbow-deep in a canvas, swirls of midnight blue and crimson, a storm over the skyline when the mail slot clattered. He wiped his hands on a rag, expecting the usual bills, Ethan's latest mock-ups from his freelance gig, maybe a postcard from their mom wintering in Florida. Instead, the thick cream envelope mocked him from the pile, addressed only to the Sullivan family. Inside, the itinerary gleamed. Rehearsal dinner at the country club where Dad had caddied as a kid, ceremony under the stained-glass saints, reception with a live band covering Springsteen and a cake tiered high as their childhood treehouse. RSVPs due by August 1st. No mention of plus ones for the unattached. But Riley knew better. He'd seen the guest list draft months ago. Emailed in a fit of brotherly excitement. 200 souls. From cousins in Milwaukee to fraternity bros from Notre Dame. Ethan's name? Absent. Like a ghost scrubbed from the family Bible. That night, over lukewarm pizza on their fire escape, Riley showed Ethan the invite. The city hummed below, horns blaring on Division Street, laughter spilling from a rooftop bar, but up here, the air felt thick, suffocating. Ethan scanned it once, twice, his dark eyes narrowing behind wire-rimmed glasses. "This is bullshit," he said finally, crumpling his slice. "They're your blood. Call them." Riley dialed Justin first, the receiver slick in his palm. The line crackled with static. Or maybe that was his heartbeat. "Hey, golden boy," he forced out, aiming for levity. "Got the fancy paper. Looks like a coronation." Justin's laugh boomed, all charm and deflection. "Hell yeah, bro. Double the trouble, double the fun. You in? Studio's not gonna crash without you for a weekend. The invite says family. Does that include me? Or am I crashing that too?" Riley's voice dipped, edged with the hurt he couldn't mask. A pause, longer than the drive from O'Hare to the suburbs. Come on. It's tradition, Sullivan's only for the vows. You know Mom's rules. Bring your friend after, at the reception. Plenty of malort to go around. Friend. The word landed like a slap. Ethan's not a friend, Justin. He's my fiancé. And I'm not hiding him in the shadows like some dirty secret. Another beat. Look, it's not about that. Emily's folks are old-school Catholics. Sarah's too. We just don't want drama. You're my brother. Always will be. But this day's about starting fresh. You know? Riley hung up before the sob could escape, the phone clattering to the floor. Ethan pulled him close, strong arms wrapping around the tremor in his chest. "They're scared," Ethan murmured into his hair, "of what you represent. But that don't make it right." The next week blurred into a haze of avoidance. Texts from Connor full of emojis and excuses. Busy with spreadsheets. "Man, talk soon." Radio silence from their parents, who deferred to the grooms to be like generals in a war Riley hadn't signed up for. He threw himself into work, layering impasto thick as his unresolved rage, until the canvas wept under the weight. Ethan hovered, patient as Lake Michigan in calm, cooking chorizo breakfast burritos and dragging him to drag shows at Berlin to laugh off the ache. But the hurt festered, a bruise blooming under his ribs. Late one night, scrolling through old photos on his phone, the three of them at 13, arms slung around shoulders, grinning with braces and dreams of escaping the Rust Belt, Riley cracked. He drove to Connor's high-rise in River North, the skyline a jagged scar against the stars. It was past midnight, but Connor buzzed him up, bleary-eyed in Notre Dame sweats, Sarah curled on the couch with a rom-com flickering. Shit, you look like hell." Connor pulled him into a bear hug, the kind that used to fix everything. "What's eating you?" Riley shoved the printed invite into his chest. He'd mocked one up with Ethan's name added, just to prove a point. "This. You two, playing house like I'm the black sheep who wandered off the farm. I'm your brother, Con. Triplet. We shared a goddamn womb." Connor's face fell, guilt etching lines around his eyes. Sarah stirred, sensing the storm, and slipped to the kitchen with a soft, "I'll make tea." "It's not personal," Connor started, rubbing his neck. "Justin's freaking out about the optics. His in-laws are from money, old money, the kind that donates to focus on the family. And me? Sarah's pushing for kids right away. We can't rock the boat. Not now. Optics." Riley's laugh was bitter. Shards of glass. "You mean my life is the optics? Ethan and I have built something real. Rings on order. Vows drafted. And you want me to slink in solo? Pretend he's invisible?" Connor deflated onto the leather sectional, head in hands. "I love you, man. But family. It's complicated. Dad's health is shit, prostate scare last month. Mom's barely holding it together. This wedding is their fairy tale ending. Don't make it a tragedy." Riley stormed out into the muggy night, the door slamming like a verdict. Back home, Ethan waited with open arms and a bottle of bourbon. "Fuck him," Ethan growled, pouring shots that burned like truth. "We make our own family. You, me, that loft with the leaky skylight and the cat that hates everyone but us." But Riley couldn't shake it. The exclusion gnawed, a worm in the apple of their shared history. He remembered Christmases where they'd swap identical gifts, bike parts one year, mixtapes the next, and how Justin always picked the biggest stocking, Connor the one with the most candy, leaving Riley with the echoes. Was this the pattern? The straight world expanding, the gay one shrinking, as August loomed. The RSVPs piled up in his inbox. Aunts cooing over floral arrangements, uncles toasting to the Sullivan legacy. Riley ghosted them all, burying himself in a new series, portraits of queer icons. From Harvey Milk to his own reflection, fractured and fierce. Ethan proposed they elope to Provincetown, just the two of them and a justice of the peace under the dunes. But Riley hesitated. "I want my family there," he admitted, voice small. "Even if they don't want me." The breaking point came 2 weeks before the wedding, in a coffee shop on Clark Street where the brothers had hashed out their first crushes over burnt lattes. Justin texted, "Meet up? Neutral ground. Miss you, bro." Riley went, steeling himself with Ethan's kiss at the door. "Be you, re. That's enough." Justin arrived late, Askew, carrying a bakery box of their childhood favorite, cannoli from the Italian joint in Little Italy. "Peace offering," he said, sliding into the booth. His eyes were bloodshot, wedding stress etched deep. "Look, I fucked up. We both did. Connor's a mess too. Sarah's pissed he didn't fight harder." Riley sipped his black coffee, scalding. "Then unfuck it. Invite us. Ethan and me. Full stop." Justin's jaw tightened, the mirror of Riley's own. "It's bigger than that. Mom found out about, the engagement. She's praying novenas. Dad won't even say his name. They think it's a phase. That if we keep it quiet. A phase." Riley's cup hit the saucer hard enough to slosh. "I've been out since college. You walked me home from my first pride, drunk on rainbow jello shots. Remember, you said, Sullivans stick together." Justin leaned in, voice low. "That was then. This is legacy. Emily's pregnant. Surprise announcement at the reception. Connor's got the ring on Sarah's finger like a handcuff. We're building what they expect. You get that, right? The American Dream white picket fence. 2.5 kids. Church on Sundays. And I'm the glitch in the code. Riley stood. Chair scraping. Tell Connor I said goodbye. For real this time. He walked out into a drizzle that matched the tears he refused to shed. The city blurring into gray. Back at the loft, Ethan found him curled on the couch, staring at a half-finished painting of 3 silhouettes against a burning horizon. What now? Ethan asked, kneeling beside him. Riley pulled him down, their foreheads touching, breaths mingling like vows unspoken. We go anyway. Crash the party. Show them what love looks like when it's not afraid. The plan formed over midnight runs to the corner store for snacks and strategy sessions on the rug. Vinyl spinning Billie Holiday's Lover Man Low. They'd drive down to Evanston the night before, check into a motel off the interstate neutral ground, away from the family manor's prying eyes. Dress sharp. Riley in a charcoal suit that hugged his lean frame, Ethan in navy, pocket square monogrammed with their initials intertwined. No speeches, no scenes, just show up, hand in hand, and let the truth do the talking. But doubt crept in like fog off the lake. What if they turned them away at the door? What if Mom's rosary beads clattered in silent judgment? Dad's silence louder than any shout? Riley dreamed of the church steps, slick with rain, his brothers' faces morphing into strangers as the organ swelled with Mendelssohn. Ethan quelled it with touches, fingers tracing collarbones, lips brushing temples. We're not uninvited ghosts, he'd say. We're the heartbeat they forgot. The drive south on I-94 was a ribbon of tension, the radio flipping between Cubs highlights and Adele ballads that twisted the knife. Billboards for megachurches and outlet malls whipped by, reminders of the heartland's unyielding pulse. Ethan drove, one hand on the wheel, the other laced with Riley's, thumb stroking knuckles like a mantra. They arrived at dusk, the motel neon buzzing vacancy like a dare. Check-in was quick, cash, no questions, and they collapsed onto the sagging bed, takeout Chinese steaming between them. Tomorrow, Riley said, popping a fortune cookie. His slip read, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. He laughed. Hollow. Cliché much. Ethan's was better. Love is the only fortune worth chasing. He tucked it into Riley's wallet, sealing it with a kiss that tasted of soy and promise. Sleep came fitful, haunted by echoes, Justin's quarterback cheers, Connor's wild guitar riffs at bonfires, the 3 of them skinny dipping in the dark. Invincible. Dawn broke gray, the kind of Midwest overcast that presses down like judgment. They dressed in the bathroom's harsh light, ties knotted with care, cologne sharp as resolve. Mary's loomed on the hill, spire piercing the clouds like an accusation. Cars lined the street, Cadillacs and Suburbans, out-of-towners in pastel dresses and seersucker suits. Riley's pulse thrummed as they parked a block away, Ethan's grip steadying him. Ready, love, as I'll ever be. They walked hand in hand, the gravel crunching under polished shoes, past whispering aunts who did double takes. The side door to the vestibule gaped open, organ music spilling out like an invitation or a trap. Inside, the air was thick with incense and anticipation, pews packed with faces from faded photo albums. Riley spotted them immediately, Justin and Connor at the altar, mirror images in white ties, beaming under the crucifix. Bridesmaids in sage fluttered like leaves, Mom dabbing her eyes with a lace hanky, Dad stoic in his ill-fitting suit. No one noticed them at first, tucked in the shadows by the holy water font. Then Connor turned, mid-vow rehearsal, and froze. His mouth parted, eyes widening in that Sullivan shock. Part fear, part fury. Justin followed his gaze, color draining from his face. The murmur rippled outward, heads swiveling like a congregation at confession. "Riley," Mom gasped, crossing herself. Dad's jaw set, knuckles white on his program. Ethan squeezed Riley's hand, a lifeline. "We're here," Riley said, voice carrying clear over the hush. "All of us." Justin stepped forward first, tucks rustling, his new life clinging like a second skin. This isn't the time." "It's exactly the time." Riley's chin lifted, auburn curls catching the stained glass light, reds and blues dancing like bruises. "You built this day on secrets, on pretending I'm not part of the triplet you claim. But I am. And so is he." Connor joined, a wall of brotherhood turned barrier. "Man, please. Not here." "The priest." "Fuck the priest," Ethan cut in, his voice low thunder, the first words he'd spoken. All eyes snapped to him, the outsider, the man. "This is about family. Real family." The congregation shifted, whispers rising like steam. Sarah clutched Connor's arm, Emily's hand flying to her still flat belly. Mom rose, rosary clicking, her face a map of grief. "Boys," she pleaded, "don't do this." "Not today." But Riley held firm, the hook in his gut pulling taut. "You did this, Mom. By letting them. By erasing Ethan like he's a sin instead of the best thing that's happened to me." Dad stood then, slow as the mill's closing bell, his voice gravel. "Enough. This is God's house. And you're my sons, all three. But this," he gestured vaguely at their joined hands. "It ain't right." The words landed like the envelope that started it all. Riley's vision blurred, hot tears carving paths down his cheeks. "Then neither is inviting two and benching one. We're triplets. That equal. Or nothing." A sob escaped Mom, raw and unraveling. Justin's shoulders slumped, the quarterback defeated. "I'm sorry. We were cowards." Connor nodded, tears mirroring his brother's. "Yeah. Scared shitless of losing the dream. But you're the dream, man. All of it." The organist faltered, a sour note hanging. Father O'Malley cleared his throat from the pulpit. "Perhaps. A moment for reconciliation." Ethan pulled Riley closer, a shield and a spark. In that suspended breath, the church held its collective inhale, the weight of legacies, loves unspoken, the American tapestry fraying and reforming. Riley searched their faces, the twins he knew better than himself. "Invite us properly," he said. "Not a demand but a bridge. Or we walk. For good." Justin extended a hand, trembling. "Stay. Please. Ethan. Welcome." The dam broke then, hugs crashing like waves, Mom's arms enveloping them both, Dad's gruff pat on Ethan's back that lingered a beat too long. Laughter bubbled through tears, the bride swooping in with makeup-smudged smiles and promises of +1 upgrades. The ceremony unfolded in a blur of vows renewed, not just for the couples but for the fractured three. As Justin and Emily exchanged rings, Riley stood beside, Ethan's pinky hooked in his, a silent pledge. Connor's turn brought toasts laced with inside jokes. The triplets' bond mended, if scarred. At the reception, under string lights in the church hall, malort flowed and toasts toasted. Ethan danced with Mom to At Last, her head on his shoulder, whispering apologies into his lapel. Dad pulled Riley aside by the bar, voice thick. Proud of you, son. Always. As night deepened, Riley and Ethan slipped out to the steps, the ones from his dream now dry, petals soft underfoot. Stars pricked the clearing sky, Lake Michigan a distant murmur. We did it, Ethan said, spinning him slow. Riley leaned in, lips brushing ear. Yeah. And tomorrow, we plan ours. No uninvites. In the heartland's quiet, love, messy, defiant, human reclaimed its place. The triplets were whole again, not in perfection, but in the raw grace of showing up. The afterglow of reconciliation faded faster than the champagne buzz, leaving Riley adrift in the weeks that followed. Back in the loft, canvases piled like unanswered questions, and Ethan's freelance deadlines loomed, pulling him into late nights at the drafting table. They spoke of their wedding in whispers, a small affair in the dunes of Saugatuck, Michigan, with drag queens as officiants and a playlist heavy on Hosier, but the shadow of the Sullivan drama lingered, a fog that seeped into every corner. One crisp September evening, as leaves turned the parks along the 606 trail to fire, Riley's phone lit up with Connor's name. Hey, wild man, his brother drawled, background noise of clinking glasses and Sarah's laugh. Date night at the Purple Pig. You and Ian. Riley hesitated, fork midway to his mouth. Pad thai from the spot on Argyle that Ethan swore cured all ills. Yeah? No blow-ups. Connor chuckled. Warm but edged. Nah. We're good. Promise. They met under the Edison bulbs of the River North hotspot, the air rich with truffle oil and regret unspoken. Justin arrived fashionably late, Emily on his arm, her glow undeniable now with the secret bump blooming under silk. Hugs were exchanged, awkward at first, then genuine freckled cheeks pressing, the triplets' telepathy flickering back to life. Over plates of pork neck and burrata, talk flowed easy. Justin's latest case, a pro bono for a trans kid's custody battle that had him woke as fuck now. Connor's panic over nursery colors, gender neutral or bust. Ethan held his own, sketching menu ideas on a napkin that had Sarah geeking out over sustainable inks. Riley watched it all, heart swelling, the exclusion a scar that itched but didn't bleed. Then Justin leaned in, voice dropping. About the wedding. We owe you big. How about we throw in, for yours? Venue, whatever. Riley's fork paused. We got it covered. Small. Us. Emily's eyes sparkled. Let us help. It's family. The word hung. A test. Ethan squeezed Riley's thigh under the table. Silent support. Appreciate it, Riley said finally. But it's gotta be ours. No optics. They parted with air kisses and promises of a boys' weekend. Fishing up in Door County. Just the triplets. Rods and ribs and reckoning. But the piece cracked on a Tuesday in October. Wind whipping the L-tracks as Riley prepped for a gallery show. A manila envelope arrived. No return address. Postmarked Evanston. Inside, a stack of photos, glossy 8x10s that hit the floor like accusations. The first, him and Ethan at Pride last year. Rainbow flags whipping. Lips locked in the float's chaos, innocent, electric. The second, a blurry shot from their fire escape, shirts off, hands exploring under starlight. Then worse, screenshots of texts. Riley's words to a hookup app from years back. Pre-Ethan. Raw with loneliness. Discreet only. Family can't know. Riley's stomach roiled. He gathered them, hands shaking, and called Ethan home early. Someone's watching us, he said, voice hollow as they poured over the pile. No note, no demand, just the invasion, cold and calculated. Ethan's jaw clenched, protector mode kicking in. Cops? Private Dick. Riley shook his head. This feels personal. The gallery opening that night was a blur. Champagne flutes clinking. Critics nodding at his Storm series. Whispers of raw talent masking the nausea churning. Ethan stuck close. Arm a constant brush. But Riley's eyes darted. Shadows lengthening in every corner. Back home. Scrolling reverse image search on the photos yielded nothing. Amateur shadows. Telephoto lens from across the street. Paranoia bloomed. Curtains drawn. Walks rerouted. It's the family, Riley muttered one night, pacing the loft. Someone digging, making sure I stay in line. Ethan pulled him down. Grounding. Or exes. Jealous types. We change locks. Up security cams. Fuck 'em. But sleep evaded. Dreams twisting the church steps into a gauntlet. Figures in hoods snapping flashes like gunfire. The next lead came via Connor's offhand text. Dad's doc appointment today. You want a ride? Riley agreed, needing the normalcy, and met them at the bungalow, shingles peeling. Mum's defiant in the yard. Dad emerged from the exam room grayer. Prognosis middling. Manageable. With chemo. Hugs were fierce. Mom's kitchen a haven of soda bread and stew. Over coffee, Dad cleared his throat. Heard about your show. Proud. A beat. And Ethan. Good man. Riley's throat tightened. Thanks, Pop. But as they loaded into Connor's SUV for the drive back, Dad's phone buzzed. He glanced, face paling, and pocketed it quick. Work, he grunted. Riley filed it away, unease coiling tighter. Days later, the second package arrived, same manila, this time with a burner phone inside. It rang once as Ethan cracked it open. A voicemail, distorted voice, male, Midwestern flat. Keep it quiet, Riley. Or the whole town sees what Sullivans really do in the dark. Ethan played it on loop, tracing accents. Sounds like Uncle Mike. Or that cousin from Milwaukee. Riley's blood ran cold. Family. Has to be. He confronted Connor that weekend, storming his office unannounced. Glass walls overlooking the Chicago River. A kingdom of spreadsheets. The photos. Riley slammed prints on the desk. You know about this? Connor's eyes widened. Genuine shock. What the hell? Stalker shit. Don't play dumb. Dad's acting weird. Someone's got dirt. Con. And it's aimed at me. Connor paled, rifling through the stack. Jesus. This is fucked. He buzzed his assistant for coffee. Mind racing. Look. After the wedding. Justin got a call. Anonymous. Warning about scandal. We thought it was nothing, crackpot. Riley's laugh was sharp. Scandal? That's me. Right? The gay one. No. Connor reached. But Riley jerked back. Save it. If it's blood, it's on you to find out. He left Connor staring at the river, his current mocking the stagnation. The gallery show sold out that month. 3 pieces to a collector from LA. Enough for a down payment on a bigger space. Celebration dinner at Girl, and the goat turned tense when Ethan's phone pinged. A tip from an old client. PI buddy. Ran plates on your street cams. Black sedan. Rented to a Terrence Riley. Ring any bells. Riley's fork dropped. Riley? As in Grandma's maiden name. Ethan nodded grimly. Cousin Terrence. The Bible thumper from the farm upstate. Clicked. Terrence. The one who'd cornered Riley at the family reunion 2 summers back. Bible in hand. Murmuring about pray the gay away. Devout. Divorced. With a grudge against city sinners corrupting the bloodline. Rage boiled over. Riley grabbed keys. We're ending this. They drove north under sodium lights. The farm a silhouette against cornfields silvered by moon. Terrence's trailer hunkered at the edge. Pickup rusted. Cross glowing neon in the window. Ethan cautioned. Easy. But Riley hammered the door. Creaked open. Terrence in flannel and suspicion. Shotgun nowhere but eyes hard. Riley. Expected you sooner. Cut the shit. Riley thrust the phone forward. Voicemail playing. Why? Blood's thicker than hate. Terrence's lip curled. Blood's clean till it ain't. Heard whispers your wedding. Thought to warn the boys. Keep the Sullivan name holy. Ethan stepped up. Voice steel. By stalking? Blackmail? That's holy. Terrence shrugged. Unrepentant. God's work. Your kind spreads like rot. Riley's fist clenched. Vision tunneling. We're family. Triplets. You don't get to judge. A scuffle, Terrence shoving. Riley pushing back, until Ethan hauled him off. The night air electric. Sirens wailed distant. A neighbor's call. Back in the car. Knuckles bruised. Riley shattered. He hates me that much. For loving. Ethan drove. One arm around him. Not you. His fear. We report it. End it. Cops came next morning. Evanston PD. Sympathetic but slow. Terrence lawyered up. Claiming concern. Photos found online. No charges stuck. But a restraining order bit. And whispers rippled through the reunion circuit. Justin called that night. Voice wrecked. Terrence? Fuck. We're cutting him out. For good. Connor followed. Therapy. Man. Family session. Mom's in. Healing began tentative group texts with memes. A hike in the Indiana dunes where Dad admitted his own silences stemmed from Milltown machismo. Didn't know how to fight for you right. Mom lit candles for Ethan, calling him son over pot roast. By Thanksgiving, the table groaned under turkey and truths. Terrence's exile. Chemo updates. Wedding plans shared like sacraments. Riley proposed to Ethan there. Under the harvest moon visible through frost-laced windows. Ring simple. Silver band etched with waves. Yes. Ethan breathed. Kiss sealing it amid cheers and tears. Winter wrapped Chicago in ice. But the loft warmed with blueprints. Vows on the beach. Playlist curated by the brothers. Springsteen for Justin. Outcast for Connor. Betrayal's echo faded. Replaced by the hum of something sturdier. Love not despite flaws, but through them. Yet as snow blanketed the city, a new shadow stirred. Emily's ultrasound. A boy. Little Sullivan. Justin beamed over FaceTime. Riley's joy mingled with ache. Legacy branching. His branch queer and uncharted. We'll teach him, Ethan said, hand on belly in solidarity. How to love wide. Spring thawed the Midwest grudgingly. Daffodils pushing through crust like Riley's resolve. Stubborn, yellow bright. Their wedding loomed in June. Saugatuck's shores calling with promises of salt air and second chances. Preparations consumed them. Invitations hand-stamped with driftwood motifs. Sent to a tight circle art friends from Pilsen. Ethan's queer chosen family from his and Arbor days. And, tentatively, the Sullivans. The Triplets' fishing trip in Door County sealed it. Under cherry blossoms pink as dawn, they cast lines into Green Bay, beers cracking open with the day's first light. No Terrence, no ghosts, just brothers, rods dipping in rhythm. Remember the time we hooked that muskie? Justin grinned, reeling slow. Thought it was a submarine. Connor snorted, gutting a perch with practiced flicks. You screamed like a girl. Ree saved the day. Riley laughed, the sound foreign after months of guarded chuckles. Lies. You both flailed. I netted it solo. Bait turned to barbs. Gentle. So. Crashing worked, Connor said. Eyes on the water. Scared us straight. Pun intended. Justin nodded. Line taut. Emily calls it our come to Jesus. Made us see. We're half without you. Riley's throat bobbed. Felt whole up there. On those steps. But the photos, Terrence? That cut deep. Silence. Waves lapping. Connor reeled in empty. We should have seen it coming. Families got weeds. But roots? Ours run deep. By dusk. Around a fire pit crackling with driftwood. Plans spilled. All in for Saugatuck. I'll officiate, Justin joked. Then serious. No. Really. Let me. Dad called midway. Voice crackling over spotty signal. Boys sound good. Chemo's kicking ass. A pause. Ethan's one of us now. Back in the city. Momentum built. Mom flew up for dress fittings. Linen suits tailored sharp. Boutonnieres of seagrass and lavender. Handsome. She fussed. Pinning hems. Her rosary pocketed for once. But cracks spiderweb subtle. Emily's glow dimmed in texts. Morning sickness. Migraines. Sarah confessed over wine. Connor's buried in work. Merger stress. Feels like we're roommates. Riley waved it off. Focused on vows. In storms and stills. You're my horizon. Ethan penned his own. Typed on his tablet. You painted my world color when it was grayscale. The bachelor party. Stripped down. No Vegas excess. Was a cabin in the Porcupine Mountains. Michigan's up wild and woolly. Just the 5 brothers. Fiancés. Coolers of craft IPA and a deck of cards. Hikes through old-growth hemlock. Stories swapped under aurora flickers. Justin's law school fuck-ups. Connor's wild European backpacking. Riley's first gallery rejection that ended in a bar brawl. Ethan bonded over bonfire bourbon, sharing his immigrant dad's tales from Beirut to Detroit. Loves the bridge, he said, arm around Riley. Justin raised a glass. To bridges. And burning the bad ones. Laughter echoed. But Connor's eyes shadowed. Phone buzzing ignored. Riley caught him later. By the lake's edge. Skipping stones. Spill. Connor sighed. Flat rock plunking. Sarah wants out. After the baby's here, hers. Not ours. Says I'm checked out. Riley sat beside, shoulder bumping. Talk to her. Like we did. Yeah. Connor's skip went wide. U&E. It's fire. We're embers. Embers reignite. Just fan 'em. Back home. The loft buzzed with last-minute chaos. Caterers confirming oyster sliders, DJ queuing Chapel Roan remixes. But a call from Justin shattered it. Emily's in the ER. Placenta issue. Baby's okay. But she's scared. They rushed to Northwestern. Sterile halls echoing their steps. Emily lay pale in the bed. For dripping, Justin pacing like a caged wolf. Preterm labor scare, he explained, voice frayed. Bed rest till term. Hugs. Reassurances. But the air hummed with fragility. Postpone, Riley offered. Justin shook his head fierce. No. Life don't wait. Neither do we. Saugatuck weekend dawned humid. Lake Michigan turquoise under relentless sun. The airway in overlooked dunes rolling like golden waves. Their suite a nest of white linens and sea glass vases. Guests trickled in, 20 souls. Eclectic as Riley's palette. A burlesque performer auntie from Ethan's side. Poet uncle who'd toasted at Pride. Ceremony on Oval Beach at twilight. Toes in cool sand. Officiant a local mayor with a rainbow pin. Vows exchanged as gulls wheeled. Ethan's voice steady. You are my north. My chaos. My calm. Riley's choked on tears. In every stroke. Every shade. You're the light I chase. Rings slid on hammered silver. Waves crashing eternal. Kiss sealed it. Cheers erupting. Petals of dune grass tossed. Reception under strung lanterns. Fire pits crackling. Oysters shucked fresh. Dad danced with Mom to Fly Me to the Moon. Chemo gaunt but grinning. Justin twirled Emily gentle. Her hand on belly. Connor and Sarah swayed stiff. Whispers tense. Riley caught the fracture later. By the water's edge. Waves lapping secrets. Sarah stood alone. Dress hiked. Feet in foam. Beautiful, she said as he approached. You too. Pause. Con okay? She sighed. Horizon swallowing sun. He's trying. But the wedding. Stirred shit. Reminded me we're not. Us anymore. Riley nodded. Sand shifting. Talk. Before it buries you. She smiled sad. Advice from the expert. Night deepened. Dances wilder. Drag tribute to share. Toasts roasting the grooms with tales of loft floods and midnight munchies. Ethan pulled Riley to the inn's porch. Stars pricking velvet sky. Husband, he murmured. First time. Tasting new. Always was, Riley replied. Heart full. But dawn brought storm clouds. Literal and not. Emily's water broke early. False alarm turned real. Contractions crashing. Justin's call yanked them from brunch. She's delivering. Now. Get here. The drive back was frantic. Ubers and carpools scattering guests. Hospital wait was agony. Coffee sludge. Bad TV. Mom praying aloud. Connor vanished mid-pace. Phone glued to ear. Hours ticked. Then joy, a boy. Liam Justin Sullivan. 6 pounds even. Red-freckled and roaring. Emily beamed exhausted. Justin weeping unashamed. Uncle Ree, he said, placing the bundle in Riley's arms. Tiny fist curled around finger. Eyes Sullivan blue locking. Perfect, Riley whispered. Ethan beside. Hand on back. But Connor's absence gnawed. He reappeared at the nursery window, haggard, Sarah's glare ice. "Where?" Riley asked low. "Meeting." Couldn't miss. Guilt laced it. That night, over diner fries, truth unraveled. Sarah cornered Riley in the hall. "He's cheating." Some in turn. Found texts. Riley's world tilted. "Con? No. Yes." Her voice broke. "Since the merger." Says it's stress. But it's him. Confrontation came swift. In the hospital cafeteria, fluorescent harsh. "What the fuck, man?" Riley hissed. Brothers' faces inches. Connor deflated, fork stabbing jello. It started innocent. Drinks. Then. Escape. Escape. Justin, fresh from the room, overheard. From us? From this. Family imploded quiet, whispers in corners. Mom's denial a wall. Dad pulled Connor aside. Words gruff. "Fix it, son. Or lose it all." Riley mediated. Heart torn. The triplet who'd mediated his own pain now brokering for the betrayer. "End it," he told Connor. "Therapy. Transparency. Or you're the uninvited one." Connor nodded. Broken. "I know. Scared of not being enough." Ethan, waiting in the car, enveloped him later. "You're the strong one. Always." Summer waned. Liam's cries a new rhythm. The Sullivans regrouped, counseling circles in the bungalow. Tuesdays at 7. Coffee and confessions. Connor confessed. Sarah stayed, tentative, rebuilding brick by brick. Justin dove into dad life. Law firm flex hours for midnight feedings. Riley and Ethan's honeymoon, delayed to the Keys. Conch shells and catamarans recharged the soul. Snorkeling reefs alive with color. Riley painted underwater dreams on waterproof pads. "This," Ethan said, floating beside, "is us. Unsinkable." Back. Autumn painted the city gold. Gallery offer. Solo show in Soho. Fractured bonds. Riley poured it out, triplets in oil. Ethan's profile etched in light. But betrayal's echo lingered in Connor's eyes. A reminder. Love's not linear, but worth the war. November's chill bit early, frosting the L windows as Riley prepped for New York. The Soho show was a leap, curator from MoMA sniffing around. Whispers of collectors with deep pockets. Ethan tagged along, laptop humming with remote gigs. Their hotel a walk-up in the village with creaky floors and views of Washington Square Jazz. Packing was chaos. Canvases crated, suits steamed, Ethan's anxiety spiking over a client deadline. "Go without me first night," he said, kissing Riley's temple. "Schmooze. I'll crash the after-party." Riley protested, but relented. The art world's a beast, and he was the offering. Opening night glittered. White walls stark. His pieces hung like wounds reopened. Triad. 3 figures intertwined yet pulling apart. Uninvited. Empty chair amid a feast. Patrons swirled. Wine glasses clinking. Murmurs of visceral and queer Americana. Critics clustered. A Times scribe nodding approval. A New Yorker jotting notes. Then, a face from the blur. Justin. Tie loose. Emily at his side in a sheath that skimmed her post-baby curves. "Surprise," he grinned, hugging fierce. Couldn't miss the big leagues. Connor and Sarah followed. Liam in a carrier, gurgling at the lights. Mom and Dad too. Mom in pearls. Dad in a blazer that pinched. Chemo's toll hidden under starch. Flew in this morning, Dad grunted. Proud don't cover it. Tears pricked as they toured. Family orbiting his world. This one's you, Riley said, pointing to shadow twin, a silhouette halved by light. Justin squeezed his shoulder. Nah. All us. After party at a Soho loft, exposed brick, charcuterie towers, indie folk strumming. Ethan arrived windswept, slipping into Riley's side seamless. Toasts flowed, curator calling him the next big voice in fractured masculinity. Laughter, dances in the cleared space. Liam passed like a talisman. But midnight brought fracture. Connor pulled Riley aside, balcony overlooking the neon sprawl. Sarah and I. We're done. For real. Riley's buzz soured. What? Counseling. Helped. Showed it's over. Connor's voice cracked. City hum swallowing. I love her. But not like. You love him. Wind whipped. Riley gripping rail. The intern. Gone. But the truth? I'm bi. Always was. Hit it for the dream, wife. Kid. Corner office. Revelation hung heavy. Why now? Connor shrugged. Defeated. Your wedding. Seeing you free. Broke the dam. Riley pulled him close. Triplet embrace against the void. Then live it. But Liam. Sarah's got primary. I'll co-parent. Be uncle. Dad. Whatever. Back inside. The party pulsed on. Oblivious. Ethan clocked the shift, drawing Riley to a corner. Spill. Con's coming out. To himself. At least. Ethan's eyes softened. Heavy. But right. The show sold half its pieces. Uninvited to a queer philanthropist. Fetching 5 figures. Headlines buzzed. Sullivan's Triplets. Art of the Outcast. Back in Chicago. Flush with cash. They upgraded the loft skylight fixed. Studio expanded. A nursery corner just in case. Holiday season descended. Twinkling the magnificent mile. Sullivan's gathered early. Thanksgiving redux at the bungalow. Tables groaning with turkey. Pierogies. Debates over Packers versus Bears. Liam toddled. Freckles blooming. Calling Unca Ree. With sticky hands. Connor dated cautious. A barista named Alex. Easy smile. No pressure. Sarah watched wary but thawing. Co-parenting crisp as fresh snow. He's trying, she told Riley over eggnog. For the kid. Mom lit the menorah hybrid faith. Her nod to Ethan's roots, candles flickering stories. Dad. Hair sprouting silver post-chemo. Raised a glass. To Sullivan's. Bent. But unbreakable. Christmas Eve. Snow blanketing the shore. The triplets snuck out. Boots crunching to the lighthouse. Thermos of spiked cocoa shared. Remember sledding here? Justin reminisced. Breath fogging. Ass over tea kettle. Connor laughed. Riley grinned. Best wipeout ever. Talk turned deep. Justin's fears of fatherhood. What if I fuck up like Pop? Connor's relief. Out feels like breathing. Riley's gratitude. You showed up. That's everything. New Year dawned crisp. Resolutions whispered. Justin for balance. Connor for authenticity. Riley for legacy. A book of essays. Art woven with words. Winter yielded to mud-luscious spring. Cherry blossoms dusting the parks. Ethan's firm offer came. A creative director gig at a Bucktown agency. Stability after freelance flux. We could. Think house, he said over brunch at M. Henry, avocado toast steaming. Riley's heart flipped. Suburbs? Us? Why not? Queer picket fence. Garden for your herbs. Yard for. Future chaos. Excitement bubbled. But doubt nipped. Family close. Healing close. Viewings started. Bungalows in Andersonville. Craftsman in Irving Park. The 1-2-story with turret. Stained glass winking sealed it. Paper signed over IPAs at the closing. Keys jangling like freedom. Moving day was circus. Brothers hauling boxes. Mom directing with lasagna breaks. Liam helping with crayons. Ethan unpacked the kitchen. Humming Beirut folk. Riley hanging triad over the mantel. But joy cracked mid-unpack. Connor called frantic. Sarah's taking Liam to her folks. Says I'm unstable. Court tomorrow. Riley dropped a lamp. Glass shattering. What? We fight it. Justin's line buzzed in. On it. Pro bono. Family law pull. Emergency powwow at the new place. Pizza boxes piling. Strategies sketched on napkins. Connor paced. Wild-eyed. I came out. Now I'm losing him. You're not. Riley fierce. We're triplets. We fight as one. Court was a blur. Oak Park domestic. Judge Stern Underwood panels. Sarah's lawyer painted Connor reckless. Affairs. Lifestyle changes. Justin countered sharp. Therapy logs. Co-parent logs. Love letters to Liam. Riley testified. Voice steady. Connor's a father first. Always was. Ethan flanked. Moral support. Hand under the table anchor. Verdict. Joint custody. Supervised visits ramping. Relief washed. But Connor's face haunted. The middle brother. Forever chasing equilibrium. That night. New house christened with takeout and tears. We'll appeal, Justin vowed. Connor nodded. Drained. Thanks. For seeing me. Spring deepened. Tulips rioting. The house settled. Herbs in window boxes. Art studio in the turret. Ethan's promotion brought travel. Riley's book deal essays on brotherhood. Queerness in the heartland. But Connor spiraled subtle. Dates fizzling. Work slipping. Bar tabs climbing. Riley intervened over coffee at Dollop. Get help, Con. For real. Yeah, hollow. Trying. Climax brewed in June. Anniversary month. Riley and Ethan's first as husbands. Dune picnic. Waves crashing, vows renewed. But Connor's text interrupted. Need you. Now. Bar on Halstead. They found him slumped at a dive. Eyes red. Alex long ghosted. Lost Liam weekend. Sarah's got a new guy. Teacher. Stable. Riley slid beside. Ethan signaling shots, water. Not whiskey. You're stable. Just lost. Connor's laugh broke. Lost? I'm drowning. Came out for air. Got a tidal wave. Words poured. Buried pains. Dad's machismo echoes. The triplet pressure to perform. You and Justin. Anchors. I'm the driftwood. Ethan leaned in. Driftwood builds beaches. Strong shit. Dawn walk home. Arm in arm. Connor crashing on their couch. Morning brought resolve. Rehab referral. AA meetings. A sponsor from Ethan's network, ex-military. Queer. steady. Healing's path wound jagged. But brothers walked it weekly check-ins. Fishing lures as metaphors. Just and balanced scales. Dad duties grounding. Riley wrote through it. Essays raw. Betrayal's not the end. It's the forge. Summer solstice. Longest day. They gathered at the lighthouse again. Full circle. Liam chased waves. Sarah neutral in co-parent truce. Connor, clear-eyed, raised a shell, to tides. They turn. Sunset bled orange. Bonds reforged in light. Autumn's palette returned, fiery as redemption's burn. Connor's recovery rooted slow, 6 months sober. Therapy a ritual. Liam's weekends laughter filling his apartment. New beau emerged. Marcus, a carpenter with calloused hands and a laugh like gravel jazz, met at an AA bonfire. Steady, Connor called him, wary wonder. Riley's book launched to quiet acclaim. Triplets Unbound. Excerpts in The Atlantic. Signings at Women and Children First. Readings drew crowds. Queer kids wide-eyed. Parents nodding through tears. Ethan glowed vicarious. Designing the cover. A triad of silhouettes. One fractured. Mended in gold leaf. Justin's life steadied. Liam's godfather duties overlapping with his own boy's terrible twos. No. Liam was nephew, but Justin's second. A girl named Nora. Arrived pink and fierce in August. Sullivan girls. He joked at the hospital. Emily serene amid chaos. Keeping us humble. Family holidays evolved. Hanukkah lax mingling with Christmas ham. Easter egg hunts inclusive of Marcus and his non-binary sibling. Mom's rosary shared space with Ethan's oud. Strums weaving Lebanese melodies into carols. But humaneness whispered in margins. Terrence's shadow resurfaced. A letter from prison DUI crash. Irony bitter. Apology scrawled shaky. Feared what I didn't know. Forgive. Riley burned it on the beach. Ashes to wind. Not yet, he told the waves. Maybe never. Winter solstice brought the storm. Literal gale off the lake. Power flickering. Sullivan's hunkered in the new house. Board games by candlelight. Stories spilling. Dad's mill strike 82. Mom's immigrant grit from Cary. Connor shared his first crush. Boy on the bus. Braces and baseball cards. Justin admitted prom king facade. A beard in every sense. Liam, 5 now. Curled in Riley's lap. Unca Ree. Tell the wedding crash story. Riley obliged. Embellishing the church standoff. Ethan hamming the priest's fluster. Laughter boomed. Power surging back like applause. Spring 2026 bloomed generous. Dogwoods confetti. Ethan's agency expanded. Remote work yielding a nursery edition. Adoption papers filed quiet. A boy from the system. Brown eyes curious. Family of 4, Ethan said. Hand on Riley's swelling hope. Waitlists long, but love patient. Connor proposed to Marcus under cherry blossoms. Simple band. Triplets as witnesses. Wedding small. Backyard affair. Vows exchanged over ribs and rain. I choose you, Connor said. Voice steady. Every day, Riley walked him down the aisle of strung lights. Justin best man. Liam ring-bearer tripping petals. Sarah toasted gracious. New partner at her side. Co-parenting a bridge unburnt. Summer solstice circled back. Lighthouse vigil annual now. Nora toddled. Liam fished with Marcus. The adopted boy named Theo gurgled in a sling. Waves lapped eternal. sun dipping gold. Riley raised a shell, echoing Connor's from years back. To tides and the shores they shape. Justin clinked. To showing up. Connor grinned. To us. Whole. As stars wheeled. The triplets stood shoulder to shoulder. Freckles fading but bonds eternal. In the heartland's vast, forgiving sprawl, love proved not a fairy tale, but a hard-won hymn, sung in minor keys with major heart. Betrayal scarred, but healed into stories told around fires. Reminders that family isn't blood alone, but the grace to invite the uninvited. Time and again. The end? No, lives unfolded. Messy. Luminous. Riley painted on. Ethan designed dreams. The Sullivans multiplied in laughter and light. In America's patchwork soul, they wove their thread gay, straight, by, bound, a tapestry resilient, radiant, real.